Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. Happy Thanksgiving. To those of you that celebrate it, to those of you that don't, welcome to the Thanksgiving live stream. It's going to be a very short stream, and I know I always say that shit. I always say, but this one's actually going to be pretty short. I just want to come out here quickly, babble a little bit about this fucking thing, but mainly talk about the greatest fucking, one of the greatest comedy movies of all time. And it's an excuse to talk about this movie as I adjust my fucking volume here. Let me adjust some shit. Push this over here, push that over there, push this button here. I might be partially alone, but we've got Mike in the live chat. I don't have any of that right now, Mike, but I might later. Who knows? But welcome, everybody that's checking this out at any point in time. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy eating day of turkey. Happy day off if you're in America. If you're not, and you're like, fuck all you motherfuckers for having a day off today, who gives a shit? But there is one thing that's worth it. Even if you're not from America, even if you've never really heard or care too much about the holiday of Thanksgiving, there's one thing that matters about Thanksgiving. And that is the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And that's basically what this short stream is going to be about. If you've never heard of the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, shut this piece of shit podcast off right now. I mean, turn this off right now. Run as fast as you can away from the computer or use the computer. What do I think? I'm like, go get your VCR cassette and go to the video corner, dude, and rent the fucking movie and watch some Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I was thinking about this afternoon, about Thanksgiving movies, and there really aren't any good ones other than some like bullshitty ones that are, you know, like Thanksgiving Day and blah 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 and this and that and me blah blah blah, or the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving thing or something like that. Little specials, you know, every sitcom show had a different Thanksgiving special and all of that crap. So Even Alf had a Thanksgiving special, I'm pretty sure, where he ate a cat. I don't know. Where Gordon Shumway ate cats on Melmac or something. But for Thanksgiving movies, there's not much to choose from if you really think about it. As I turn my eyes into the live motherfucking chat in a second here, as I welcome everybody that's joining me even briefly this afternoon in the live motherfucking chat. Here we go. We got Richie A. We got Hannibal. We got Felicia. We got Brain. We got Gary. We got Tim. We got Broke. We got more Richie. We got a Happy Thanksgiving Mother Dick from Richie. Thanksgiving stream from Felicia. A shorty stream. This is like, you know, tiny mushroom tip size stream going on here. We got the Hannibal O'Neill in the live motherfucking chat. We got Gary. Happy fucking Thanksgiving to you. Tim F. Happy Thanksgiving. Brainwashed. Happy Thanksgiving to all of us fucking Yanks. Mike says, wait, Phil, are you talking about Survivor Series? It's funny you say Survivor Series. I was going to say leading up to the point that I want to say, I'm not even sure what year Survivor Series first started, but that was what I was mostly into wrestling at that time. And I remember being really excited to watch that later that particular evening. Phil, where's your hand? Richie, it's between two pillows. What, Richie? Those aren't pillows. Phil's like, no, 2 hour stream. 87, you think, Mike? Which is really crazy because it's funny that you said that it's I guess I always say that. It's funny. And maybe it's not funny. It's a thing that you said 1987, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles also came out in 1987. So perhaps it was a year that dedicated all Thanksgiving entertainment will be defined in the year 1987, when the greatest sports entertainment thing in the world comes out on Survivor Series. In that first Survivor Series, did the Ultimate Warrior win that? I think it was the Ultimate Warrior. Was it like Brutus Beefcake or something? Or it was someone random, or British Bulldog? I forget who won it. I'm going to have to like look this up now. I'm going to have to like look first Survivor Series. But no, huge thank you to everyone in the live chat that happens to pop on in, whether it's in between your dinner, after your dinner. I personally haven't made my dinner yet. I went You know, I went simultaneously to 2 different places. I did the whole thing like when you're a kid and you tell one person you're going to one place and one person you're going to another place, and you actually go to no places. And fortunately, no one from my family watches my podcast, so they don't really need to be, you know, shocked by this development. Maybe Alan will watch this at some point because he's been watching more and he's homesick right now. So hope you're feeling good. But I did stop by the porthole to say hi to everybody. But I'm like, I gotta go. And I told them I'm coming home to record a podcast. I don't give a shit. I want to spend my Thanksgiving with you, playing the spoons. That's basically how I'm gonna spend my Thanksgiving, motherfuckers. Tyrion popping on in. Hello, Nick. Also, hey, how's it going, Nick? Great to see you in the live chat. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the only Thanksgiving movie out there. We got Cindy in the live chat, too. We got William. Stay safe, William. Have a great motherfucking day, and hopefully you're getting drunk, and hopefully a lot of people are getting drunk. I don't necessarily have anything against Thanksgiving as a holiday per se, or specifically against Thanksgiving. I'm just not a big holiday person when it comes down to it. And this is nothing against the people that are holiday people. They're like, oh, let's celebrate, let's do this, let's get together, blah, 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 on these particular days. My whole thing is if I want to get together with those people, and like, people in my family, I hang out with some of the members of my family, like not often, as often as I hang out with any people. Like two of the members of my family are 2 of my best friends in my life, and I'm very close to a couple of my other cousins and stuff like that. So I have a pretty, you know, if I want to see those people, I'll see them. Being forced to go and hang out with them because today is a certain day, that's where I get a little hinky about it, where I'm just like, fuck that. You know, I don't give a shit about that. You know, I give a shit about real situation. I'm such a dick. I'm such a pretentious dick. Fuck that, man. Fuck that. I'm gonna sit here with my goofy hat on and put my finger up to that. No one's making me lasagna right now, so I'm not fucking going. You want me to come to your fucking Thanksgiving dinner? Make me a fucking lasagna. Fuck. It's my sister's now heading off to the in-laws later, says Felicia. Happy Thanksgiving. Hogs TV. Mike says Team Hogan versus Team Andre, with Andre's team winning 87 Survivor Series. Holiday sucks. Got to deal with family. Happy Thursday. And that's just the thing. I don't like to have to deal with family. The people in my family I don't want to see and don't want to spend time with. I don't want to get to know them. I don't want to get to know significant others of family members until that relationship lasts at least a little amount of time. Because then I have to like waste time getting to know people, and I don't want to get to know people. I just want to get to know you. I'm such a dick. I'm such a Steve Martin, Neil Page. I'm a high-strung, not a marketing executive. But what's this all about? Why am I talking? Why am I coming on here just to spread my ass cheeks and shit on Thanksgiving? I'm not shitting on Thanksgiving. I'm envious of the people that do fine, you know, that like this sort of shit. And some people say they're envious of me because I have the dickitude enough to say fuck all this shit and be like, I don't want to go here. When I go to public places, I tend to get people pissed off at me. The reason why I don't interact with people as much isn't that I don't like people. It's that when I interact with people, I make people angry. They don't like me. They don't want me around because I'm loud. I'm ridiculous. This is what you see. This is what you get. I'm sitting there, but hey, you motherfuckers, calling people out on shit that they did. You know, I'm no fun. If I'm talking about anything, it's about movies, you know, I'm a television asking people, hey, you watching the show? I'm such a dick. So Mike says, me and my cousin Phil always get together in the holidays. I'm behind the wheel if you look close. Oh, there he is. Mike. Dude, Mike, what's going on, buddy? Here, take this. Hit this, dude. Dude. No, and I mean, I appreciate it. I think part of the problem is if I'm really getting into like making you guys my fucking fucking therapists for the day, for the podcast. I think ultimately, if anyone's known anything of this podcast, you guys are half listening to me talk about television reviews and half just being my fucking therapist. So if it really comes down to it, growing up in the house that I grew up in, everyone came to my house. You know, they all just piled into my house like a bunch of fucking clowns into a clown car of the tiny room of my house, and all like, and all made the gobbling sounds. So the fact that I can escape it is, oh, happy days a little bit. So anyways, I'm going to start a new Thanksgiving tradition this year, my own tradition, which is going to be podcasting every Thanksgiving for at least a little bit, because this is only going to be a 20-minute cast. Anyways. So anyways, now that I spent the first 10 minutes of this podcast, anyone who's like, oh, the best Thanksgiving movie, I'll click on this video. Let me hear about the best Thanksgiving movie, asshole. Let's see what you got to say. 3 seconds later, that Thanksgiving sucks. Anyone who celebrates an asshole. I'm going to play my conga drum. So I have sort of a weird, awkward way that I celebrate the holidays, and I've always been sort of a little less than the normal way you handle things, I guess. Whatever. Oh, that is a good excuse. The Godfather marathon is on AMC. I got to say, The Godfather is probably okay. So let's talk about this in a more general sense. Let me wrap this around into a subject matter of some pissitude here. So, what's the best part about the holidays aren't the forced family interactions. It's not the being put in uncomfortable positions where you have to suddenly walk on eggshells like you did when you were 16 or 12 or whatever, like around your parents and shit like that. It's not about that bullshit and falling into that same crap. It's about the movies, the television, the shit that goes on television. When shows do Thanksgiving episodes, if you dig on that, the specials that only come out once a year. Not to mention, if I'm just bitching about a lot of things, Thanksgiving doesn't even exist anymore. The whole season of fall doesn't exist anymore from a marketing standpoint. The minute Halloween ends, you start seeing fucking Christmas and winter holiday bullshit popping out. They skip Thanksgiving. So fuck Thanksgiving anyway. But the best part of the holidays, or it's almost like being sick. It's almost like being homesick. You mentioned The Godfather, Hannibal. The reason why I went on that little fucking rant that right there is because The Godfather is my go-to sick movie. Especially like the saga, when they do both movies together in chronological order. That's probably my favorite way of taking in the Godfather sequels. I'm not going to consider part 3. I'm not talking about part 3 right now. If you've never seen the Godfather movies, part 3 is probably for anyone who likes the first 2 movies and thinks that the first 2 movies are 2 of the greatest movies of all time. I know some people think that they're overrated. It's kind of hard watching them and not watching them now and understanding. I still think they hold up, but some people, those movies are, Citizen Kane, essentially, and I would put myself in that category that I think Godfather 1 and 2 are almost film perfection in what I want out of a film. And they're long form. They're a little, they really go long, and there's a lot of, they're very dark. They're very 70s like, but Godfather 3 is the biggest piece of shit douchebag of a film that ever existed in a series of movies that were great. Outside of itself, Godfather 3 on its own, you could watch it and be like, okay, Al Pacino gives a kind of a good performance, so does Diane Keaton. There's some elements here, but as a whole, compared within the trilogy that it's a part of, some could say maybe The Dark Knight Rises isn't as good as Batman Begins or The Dark Knight, or even I would go not just for trilogies, for Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull with the rest of the Indiana Jones movies. But Godfather 3 is an insult to... It's like taking a giant turd on a piece of pizza, on your favorite slice of pizza. Oh, wow, this is the greatest pizza of all time. Oh, they opened up a new restaurant? I love Santarpio's pizza. It's the best pizza my favorite pizza in Boston. It's fucking great. Oh, they opened up a new location? Holy shit, I can't wait to get it. Open up the pizza and there's dog shit on top of it. That's their new garnish. They decided this new location that they're going to garnish their pizza with dog shit. It's fucking awful. It's fucking horrible. So let's jump in the live motherfucking chat. Broke says I haven't seen The Godfather. I would definitely give it a shot. Broke. I'd watch some scenes of it before you watch the whole movie. But I think it starts off very, very strong in that first movie, and it's a slower movie than what some people might expect, especially younger. I'm like such an asshole, especially you younger folks. No, but it's a really slow moving movie. But I think you definitely will enjoy it. So fucking watch that shit. The saga is the best. Yeah, all aboard the hoe train. They take so much out of the books too. The Godfather's pretty much a close approximation to the books, except for that whole part with Sonny and the girl he was fucking that had an unusually large vagina. And I'm not making that up. Read the original Godfather book. There's chapters and chapters based around how Santino has a very large penis and he's cheating with this particular Gumar because she has a very large vagina. And they're the only people that can satisfy each other. And that person ends up being the mother, speaking of Godfather 3, of Andy Garcia's character in Godfather 3. That's the bastard son of Santino that ends up being a big part of that film. Anyways, so I couldn't finish watching Godfather 3. It's fucking awful, dude. It is horrible. Dark Knight, best in the series. Fuck The Dark Knight Rises. Broke. Okay, so that's a similar example of that. And with The Godfather, it's the worst possible example of it, where it's the first two movies are it's similar to Batman. Like some people could say those are two of the best superhero movies ever made from like a serious standpoint. And the third movie, I agree. I don't hate Rises as much as some people do, but I definitely don't love it. It's not my favorite of them vaccine planes, trains, and automobiles. Okay, so let me get a little bit into talking about planes, trains, and automobiles. And let me start with this. Let's see if I can play this. Are you on right now? Play.
No, Mom's gonna do the turkey. Yeah, Dad wants them frozen.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let me say. Oh no, nothing. It's silence.
You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks.
Welcome to Marathon. May I help you?
Yes.
How may I help you?
Then you can give me a fucking automobile, a fucking Datsun, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick, 4 fucking wheels and a seat.
I really don't care for the way you're speaking to me.
And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. And I really didn't care to fucking walk down a fucking highway and across a fucking runway to get back here to have you smile at my fucking face. I want a fucking car right fucking now.
I'm sorry if the audio of that's was really, 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 really extra horrible. That was an awful way to introduce you to the movie. But Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a 1987 comedy. It's a road film. It's kind of like a travel film. And I think ultimately, if a lot of people talk about it's starring John Candy and Steve Martin. Steve Martin is one of the best leading comedy guys in movies. That's a different sort of list I want to do later. And that's something I might end up doing with Tony Teflon at a later date, like best performers in movies that are funny or something like that. But Steve Martin, spoiler alert, would be very high near my list. He's been in so many great comedies, from The Jerk to The Man with Two Brains, so many ones. Like I'm flooded with a billion Steve Martin. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. God, I'm fucking blanking up. My Blue Heaven. I'm thinking of one specific one that I'm blanking on the name of it, but he's just been in so many great movies. Let me look at the fucking movie. His one of the greatest stand-up comics of all time. Little Shop of Horrors is in that bit part of Little Shop of Horrors. So many great fucking performances by Steve Martin. Exceptional banjo player. Like an exceptional banjo player. Fucking Three Amigos. I don't know. I could continue. I'm not like looking at his list. Is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles the one that Steve Martin says those aren't pillows? Yes, it is. Or I think it's actually John Candy that says it. And then you have John Candy, who also is one of the funniest guys ever. Uncle Buck, fucking Spaceballs, Who's Harry Crumb. So many different funny moments back to his SCTV stuff. Both guys are two of the funniest people on earth. And what's excellent about both of them, too, is they also both have another gear. They both can do serious stuff pretty well, especially John Candy. And what this movie does, and it's a John Hughes film, one of his early things. Pick of Destiny, great to see you. Great to see you. One of the best films ever produced is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Made by John Hughes. John Hughes is the Brat Pack Bunch guy, the guy who did all the 16 Candles, also did Home Alone, also did some pretty shitty movies too towards the end of his career as well. But this, I think, all in all, with all of John Hughes's movies, is my favorite. This movie, whether it takes place inside the Hughes universe or not, is a different story altogether. It's a Thanksgiving movie, and it's the only Thanksgiving movie that I can directly think about. And it is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was the other movie I was trying to think of that I couldn't think of. One of my favorite Steve Martin movies. I'm expecting something like Mr. Bean's Christmas, where he lost his turkey. Where did I put those spoons? Are they in my bum? I got the spoons in my bummy. The movie is about a guy, Steve Martin's character, who kind of plays a high-strung marketing executive. He's very high-strung, kind of a neat freak. And he meets this guy, John Candy. He has trouble. Kevin Bacon's in the movie for a second, too. There's a lot of couple of random cameos mixed throughout the movie. But ultimately, the whole film is about Steve Martin having to get home. And he misses his plane, and the rest of the planes, there's a huge snowstorm, and the plane gets canceled. So he's trying to get from New York, I believe it is, to Chicago. And every other way that they try to get there, hijinks ensue. Ultimately, he meets up with John Candy's character, who I'm going to talk around it because I don't want to spoil too much of it, even though it's a really old movie. There's a couple of funny shock scenes that come out of it. But ultimately, John Candy, they're set up in a somewhat of an odd couple kind of way, where John Candy is, in some ways, the polar opposite of Steve Martin's character. He's a traveling salesman. He's more of a kind of a dirty guy, kind of a funny, more of a man of the people, where Steve Martin comes off in the movie as very, very brash, very, very dickish. He's playing that Steve Martin dick side character that he has, instead of ball side. Steve Martin has a couple different characters he plays in movies. The wild and crazy guy, the really dumb character that he can play. Then he plays this snarky asshole Steve Martin. He's playing the snarky asshole Steve Martin even more uptight, mixed with a little bit of Danny Tanner in there. And he's a family man. He cares about his family, but he is being pushed to his edge in this situation. He's being forced in a situation to get this partnership with this Tasmanian devil of a guy of John Candy. And the whole movie is ultimately about the two of them getting to know each other and traveling together through weird circumstances, trying to get from Chicago to New York. John Candy ultimately feels responsible in some ways for some of the reasons why Steve Martin wasn't able to get home. So he takes it upon his responsibility to get home and also potentially go home himself and deal with some stuff. What makes the movie so great is a bunch of reasons. One, it's written extremely fucking well. Like, it's really a fucking tight comedy. I played you that fuck scene right there, but some of the comedy, it has some of the greatest one-liners of all time in a comedy movie. It was referred to a couple times in the live chat room already about where's your hand between two pillows? Those aren't pillows. Ultimately, I don't want to ruin where that scene comes from, but you're the devil. You're going the wrong way. You're making a mistake. There's so many lines from that movie that just become a part of my everyday lexicon of the way I joke and talk to my friends. It's one of those movies that is so essential to the comedy breakdown of fucking film history. It is the ultimate example. It's almost... It shows you the depth of John Candy, because a movie like Great Outdoors, he plays more Steve Martin's character in that to Dan Aykroyd playing a little bit more like him, but a little bit more uptight and stuff. But John Candy in this role, as much as Steve Martin's great, Steve Martin essentially at times is the straight man. He has a couple of Steve Martin moments in the movie. One of the best being that fuck scene I played at the beginning, and a couple of freak outs that he has on John Candy's character. But this movie is beginning to end about John Candy. It shows you everything that's great about him as a comedian. This awkwardness that he was able to pursue. John Candy's not funny because he had amazing one-liners or he was always the coolest guy in a movie. What makes him so funny in like Scrubs, not Scrubs, not Scrubs, not the TV show Scrubs, the fucking Stripes. Makes him so awesome in Stripes and fucking Brewster's Millions and Splash. All these like roles where he's the best friend or something like that, which is what made John Candy so fucking awesome. He's so warm. No matter how, but he's awkward too. And he makes you feel uncomfortable. Like he's going to be rude and awkward. It's almost comparatively to some of the other big, like a lot of people like to compare John Candy with Chris Farley or John Belushi because they are past and they were larger actors. John Candy was not as much of a physical comic as Chris Farley was, or someone like even like Dom DeLuise was, where John Candy, it's more of an intellectual thing. It's more in the way he was an excellent actor. And I think what fucking makes this performance what makes this movie so great is the spoiler in it that I'm not going to talk about. Is the thing that happens in the movie and the switch over and those little subtle moments, the way Candy plays it. He had such another gear. A lot of comedians do. We see it a lot in Better Call Saul with Bob Odenkirk and Mike and Squiggy there, Michael McKean. You saw it with Robin Williams. John Candy is another one. A lot of comedians are like this, but he has this acting gear. You saw it a little bit more in like his performances in JFK. There's a couple of other moments here and there in movies that he'll always put in this emotional sort of thing there where he gets to play that feeling and make you care about him. And that was why he was one of the greats. It wasn't that he was necessarily, to me, always the funniest guy in the room. It was that he was the one that had the biggest heart. And you could feel that heart in this performance more than anything. It encompasses what should be about the holidays if you want to go down that route. It's schmooshy. It's an emotional movie. It will make you cry and laugh. It's like one of those fucking movies. It's an emotional roller coaster kind of thing. Or it's a laugh, 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 laugh. And then when the shit hits you on it, and it hits you swift and hard, and not in a fucking Gremlins way where it's like all of a sudden where, you know, you're in one kind of movie and then you hear someone go, and then my dad, he died in the chimney and we smelled his rotting flesh. And you see Gizmo's eyes like, what the actual fuck are you talking about? It's not like it's not like something like that. It's delivered and revealed really subtly throughout the movie. And it's something you pick up at the end. And when it all fucking comes together, fuck man, dude, bitch, shit, fuck, cocksucker, fucking goofy head. It's really good. And it really gets you. It gets me so fucking emotional. And I feel those feelings. And to me, it's all because of John Candy's acting performance. He just brings it to another goddamn fucking level. So let's go into the live motherfucking chat. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the one Steve Martin's. Yep. Time to watch Phil make turkey. John Candy's hands in between Martin's butt cheeks. Happy Thanksgiving to Renwood. You guys are late. Thanksgiving was in October. Lots of laugh. Aaron, $10 super chat donation. Thank you so much, Aaron, for that. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Let's spin this fucking wheel. I don't have the super chat thing. I don't have my little full thing on, but still, you get a fucking spin of the wheel. What's that say? That says, do I have to make up a song? No one wants to hear me make up a song. No one wants to hear me make up a fucking song. That's let me play. Let me play a song. That's let me play a song instead. That'll be better. Let's play a song. Now this is a story all about how Westeros got flipped, turned upside down. If you want to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you all about the quest to take the Iron Chair. In the fingers, born and raised, wanna fuck Catelyn Tully most of his days, chilling on the... Okay, no one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that either. You fucking piece of shit. No one wants to know. I'm kidding. Here we go. Yeah, this is for you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Ooh, where's my head going left, right? I don't want to do it. Punch me in my nuts, talk about it all. Stick it in the face and you call it a ball. Oh, baby, where's your hands? It's in between two cheeks. Oh, those aren't cheeks, those are pillows. You're in my ass cheeks. What's talking about? This is the worst song ever, but it doesn't matter because it's all about love.
Sorry. I'm not used to my setup yet, so I don't have the music right in my ears or the right effects. So sorry for that horrible, poor excuse for your fucking song, Aaron. You know, you can take that back. You can take your donation back. No, I'm giving you another spin because I'm embarrassed by that fucking song. I turned off Fresh Prince of Westeros. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh, if you want to hear the rest of Fresh Prince of Westeros, please check out the video. See, I can be a dick like that too. I can hijack you and be a video terrorist here. Watch my shit. Watch it. But yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, one of the best John Hughes movies, written, produced, directed all by John Hughes. And that says Phil drink. So I guess I have to fucking drink. I've said no to everything else. I'm an asshole. I'm saying no. Go. Yeah, exactly. Pick a destiny. Thank you, Aaron, for the $10 donation. I'll only play the rest of the song for another $5. Okay. Why don't we try to get people going here? I'm kidding. Joseph in the live chat. Phil, I'm so glad you're doing a movie about this amazing show. I'm so glad you're doing a show about this amazing movie. Your tops are always the best, and without a doubt, it's the best Thanksgiving movie out there. I watch every year religiously. Thank you so much, Joseph, and thank you so much for enjoying this. Sometimes I just like to come out with random things that are on my mind, and today I was thinking all day about coming out here and talking about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I haven't actually watched it yet. I'm going to watch it tonight. So it's not so fresh in my mind. That's why I'm not necessarily even getting into specifics. It's usually it's a Thanksgiving night like tradition for me. I do have to get a buzz. I know, poor me. I have to get a buzz for you guys. So let me do this. Let me put on another song. Hopefully it won't be too bad. The game show song of Spinning the Wheel. Excuse me, and I'll be right back to talk a little bit more about, excuse me, my body knows a shot's coming. To talk a little bit more about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and finish off the podcast. It was funny. I met my cousin David's new significant other today. And the first thing I said as I approached the table was, "Hi, nice to meet you. I don't usually have a mustache." Because I saw her giving me that creepy Petter Pedersen kind of look. Let me put up the music again because I want to show you guys how I came in because I'm a wacky dude like this. So, one second. And then I'm like, I don't usually have a mustache. Oh, let me get that shit off my face. Let me get that shit off my face. Good to see Kyle in the live motherfucking chat. Lots of love to Kyle. What am I doing here? Where am I doing here? Okay. Aaron, have a great fucking day. Thank you so much, Aaron. Oh, I do a one shot before you go. Here we go. Oh yeah, Hawk Hitler, get on my lap, baby. Lots of love to Aaron. Thank you so much for that super chat donation. Lots of love. And I took your fucking shot. I know with the glasses, it's even more Weird Al, huh? Which one is that? Are these the more the Weird Al? Is this young Weird Al Yankovic going on here? A little bit of young Weird Al. Not young. I just mean like the other Weird Al look. Dad? Whoa, that shot went right to my fucking head. But yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I also kept this because of the mustache of that in that movie as well. But yeah, if you haven't seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving and you live somewhere other than the United States, this is a movie to watch to not even understand what Thanksgiving, like about the family aspect, like just as a funny situation. And it's a movie you should watch at least once a year, especially if you've never seen it before. It's a funny movie, fucking hilarious, also deep, emotional. John Candy's performance elevates the movie and Steve Martin's chemistry that both of them have. And throughout the movie, the feeling of both of them starting and establishing and caring about each other. It's a very fun movie. I'm like a stalker for Weird Al. I show up at all of his shows. I'm like, dude, I need the fucking paternity test. And you know what's funny about this too? And I'm not saying this because for humor purposes necessarily. I'm saying this just for, it's a funny thing. My mother wasn't necessarily a slut, but for a long time, I didn't know who my dad was. So as a kid growing up, I looked to Weird Al, man. I looked at that dude. I'm like, dude, maybe. So whatever. Kind of a tradition, even though there's it was on TV in Greece every year this time of the year. Kind of a tradition, even though we have no Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's just an excuse, and that's what I was kind of saying at the beginning of this whole thing. I'm not a big holiday guy. I appreciate the days off that the people I don't get to see that often because they work super often have those sorts of days off. But really the best part of the holidays is the excuse to watch certain movies or certain television shows that only come on during those times of year. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, although being a Thanksgiving movie, I will not say it should be relegated just to Thanksgiving watch, but it is one of those movies that's good enough for finding excuses to watch it. And that never bothers me. Finding excuses to watch things you love. It's like, I just want to, Nightmare Before Christmas is an excellent one too. And as we lead into it, I guess, there's the series of Christmas movies. Some people watch fucking Christmas has obviously a lot more movies, whether they be the straight out Christmas movies, like some of the best, like Miracle on 34th Street, or some of the amazing ones like Gremlins and Die Hard. Yes, I don't know where this became a debate. Gremlins and Die Hard are both Christmas movies. I would say that Gremlins is a little bit more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard, but they're both Christmas movies. There's Christmas music in Die Hard. Die Hard 2 might occur on Christmas, but I don't consider Die Hard 2 a Christmas movie. National Lampoon's Home Alone 2. Yeah, Home Alone is great. If I was making a list of the best John Hughes movies, I think 1, 2 would probably be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and then Home Alone. Home Alone is great. Like it's easy to kind of overlook it at some point, being separated from it. But Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, and Macaulay Culkin for that matter, and Kevin McAllister's mother there, she's awesome. John Candy makes a bit appearance in that movie too, playing part of the polka team. The national polka team. But yeah, those two movies, Joe Pesci especially. Seeing Joe Pesci try not to swear the whole movie and saying words like schmeckum, freckum, breckum, wreckum, and stuff like that. And I love Daniel Stern when he's fun. Like, well, he has his parts, like in City Slickers and that. He's very fucking funny shit. Elf, dude, Azor, great fucking pick. Elf is another amazing Christmas movie. Will Ferrell, I don't always love every one of his movies, but when he hits you with a role that like clicks with me, like the first Anchorman, that Talladega Nights, like when it hits with him, can be naturally one of the funniest people on earth, just without even fucking trying. He's just been in so much shit lately that I'm sort of having a problem with it. In National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, I would say the same thing about Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase in his prime is one of the funniest fucks on the face of the planet, but he's such a crazy fucker in reality that sometimes that seeps through, and I'm like, oh, or he's been in so many shit movies, like the Jonathan Taylor Thomas movie, and like in so many like bad, weird performances. Yes, he was really good on Community too, so it kind of made him funny again, but anyways, you know what I mean? Like when someone that's really funny or really good then starts doing Daddy Daycare or fucking Pluto Nash, and you're like, wait a minute, what was funny about Eddie Murphy again? But Elf is maybe my favorite of all of his movies because he plays that innocence thing so fucking well that, no, that sort of thing. Almost like Howie Mandel in Walk Like a Man, playing a dude that was raised by wolves and shit. Like Howie Mandel playing like a irreverent sort of crazy character. Him playing Will Ferrell playing Elf. It's just like whoosh. Great fucking movie. Good suggestion, Kyle. Sylvia says, Phil, Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie too. It's on Christmas. It's not a Christmas movie. It's different. I know this seems really fucking stupid, and everything else I've said in my entire fucking review and podcasting career is gonna get like destroyed by talking this way right now. But what I'm saying right now, this is a very serious subject all of a sudden. I consider Die Hard 1 a little bit more of a Christmas movie because it just feels more Christmassy. It has more Christmas music. There's more things to symbolize it's Christmas. Die Hard 2, yes, it also takes place on Christmas. There's a Christmas tree that gets blown up and lands somewhere here and there. But to me, it doesn't come off. This is the stupidest thing I've ever said in my word. It's ineffable. There's no F's there. I can't like put my finger on exactly why this is the case, but Die Hard 1 is a Christmas movie. Die Hard 2 isn't. Nana boo boo. Sylvia. Don't leave me, Sylvia. Oh, fuck. Yes, he's so and he played Kyle. He plays that oblivious so fucking well, dude. Like people that can play stupid or naive really well. That's one of the funniest things in the world to me because it's just when it feels natural like that, and him playing like a kid or a baby kind of character just comes off so genuine to me, because I think that's him acting the least. He's another one that definitely has an acting gear that when he can switch it. And I think that makes him such a good performer in those moments that he can also act, and it helps him in playing characters like that, because he has commitment and he knows. And with acting, half of it is just staying in character and not in like the crazy fucking like the crazy way of like being an asshole, like your character's an asshole to people. That's, why don't you try acting, young sir? But acting itself, it's like the concentration of like holding your character and not breaking it. That's why some people need to go all the way and be crazy and do like the method acting stuff. Not that I'm saying method acting's crazy. I just think maybe, some people, what they do to their bodies is a little fucking crazy. But in how they have to be like, when they're on set, you got to talk to me in my character name. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not talking to your fucking character name. Okay, Bob. You're not fucking Tinkerbell, Bob. I'm not calling you Tinkerbell on set of Cinderella wears combat boots. Fucking asshole. Try acting. I'm such a dick. Hey, Sam, happy Thanksgiving to you. I'm so in dick move right there. So I don't know if there's any other Thanksgiving movies or anything more I can talk about Thanksgiving other than watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Hopefully, if you're enjoying yourselves, eat a shit ton of food and pass out early on the couch. I don't particularly do that. I'm going to probably take another shot, watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and make myself a pizza. That's what I'm going to do. Eat lots of sandwiches, hopefully. But I heard Gary Oldman stayed in character for Winston Churchill role. And I'm kind of being hyperbolic in the sense of some of the actors I've worked with in cheesy community theater kind of things, because I'm a fucking, Punch and Judy kind of actor. I haven't been in any like films or anything. I've done stage work and done like, like independent kind of crap. And in some of those, my interactions with some of the actors in those situations that are like, hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. Hey, Bob, you want to get some lunch? Bob, 5 minutes. Tinkerbell, yes? Like, no. But I mean, like a serious, like, I'm not like fucking someone like Christian Bale or something like that. Some people take it really serious. I'm not saying not to take it serious. I'm being a kind of a dick about it, but I'm being a fucking dick about it. I'm being hyperbolically dickish, as I am prone to do on occasion. Oh shit! What happened? The camera's out. What do I do? How do I solve this anomaly? Brainwash says, I really get to see Phil live because of time differences. Well, I am so fucking glad that anyone that's been able to pop on in here today is able to check out this live stream. I was better about it during a couple months ago before all my equipment fucking died and I had to replace it. And I'll try to get good on it again. I want to do at least one day a week that I do an afternoon stream, and a couple days a week that I do evening streams. As time goes on, I mentioned this a little bit on the most recent Walking Dead cast. As time goes on, I'm going to less. It's probably just going to be like a couple days, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, however I can get it to it. And those will be the podcasting days. And those days will have certain subjects that we talk about, whether that be on a Sunday, we're going to talk about The Walking Dead, but the show won't necessarily directly be about The Walking Dead. We'll have a section of the show be about that, and then babble a little bit more and let things become a little bit more silly generally, and put the reviews, stagger the reviews a little bit. I want to get Joe talking about some other shit. Just like, I don't know if I can talk about this Walking Dead anymore. No, he didn't say that. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Everybody, Kyle, have an awesome fucking day, dude. We'll definitely touch base soon. And lots of love to Azora Hype in the live motherfucking chat. Lots of love to Kyle. Joe says, happy Thanksgiving, Phil. Kind of off topic, but I drove by where they film Castle Black for the Game of Thrones in Northern Ireland, and they had tents and fake snow set up. Photos weren't permitted. I've heard rumors that Game of Thrones might come back sooner than we think. I can't say necessarily where I don't have anything to back up those claims, but I've heard from a couple sources potentially that we might not be, that we might get 2018 after all, but we'll see. I don't want to jinx it. But I don't like, it's one of those things that don't quote me on that, because I've heard through a couple of secondhand sources and it's like a lot of hair saying shit like that. So we can still hope for 2018. But Vikings starts very, very soon. Very soon. We'll be doing some Viking recaps and bringing in some friends for the Vikings recaps. Nick Hodges from History Buffs will be joining us 1 week to talk about some Vikings, sharing some of his experiences on set. I don't know which episode he will be on specifically quite yet, but he will be on. Also going to touch base with King McKay again and see if he can do something with me as well. And also, yay, we're getting a new TV. One of our televisions in the house have broken, so it's an excuse to get a brand new television. So Stephanie is getting it, and where she's like, pick out a television you want to get. Oh, okay, we can do that. So thank you. Hi, Stephanie. I will do that. And also this coming Sunday on the Walking Dead cast, I'll be joined by a special guest, Nick Diaz. I was going to say Nick Hodges again. Nick Diaz from the Midnight Chat Attack will be joining me to recap the most recent episode of The Walking Dead. Very excited to have Nick on the podcast and talk to him. He's a very fucking funny guy, and I think we're going to have a good time. So I guess now is as good a time as any. I did say this is going to be a shorter cast than usual, just about 20 minutes quick. I'm so glad that Lola's in the live motherfucking chat. I can't go quite yet. Lola, great to see Lola, Joe, Sam, Pick a Destiny, Apulia, Gary, Brainwash, Tyrion, Joe, Azora, thank you for stopping by. CJ, Sylvia, thank you for our super chat donation. K Rich, I saw K Rich pop on in there in a second. After years of parental tyranny, the holidays are a no Jimmy Stewart zone. What you talking about? Come on, Shay. It's the greatest thing of all time. Sorry, that's a horrible Jimmy Stewart. I had like 2 seconds of a decent Jimmy Stewart in there somewhere. And huge thank to Aaron for the super chat donation earlier today. Cannot fucking wait. It does, Lola. It's been a disappointing season. I have enjoyed it more than last season, but still, I don't know if it's me or the show. Ultimately, I think it's the show. I think it's you, not me. Not you, Lola, meaning the show you. I think it's you, it's not me. I'm the first one to say when it's me. And I don't think it's me. It might be me, though. So, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. It's about time to call this a silly stream. I will be back on Sunday with Nick Diaz to talk about this fucking episode. By the way, this will be the 50th anniversary of the Cowboys playing on Thanksgiving. Now, if they could only win. FDXC, it is me. See, that's true. You're here, so I can't fucking stop the podcast, and now I have to talk about useless fucking shit. Talk about all the stuff that's around my room, and I got a fucking Borg climbing at me that's drilling into my brain that's going, resistance is futile, Phil. You need to fucking keep going. You can say you want to stop the podcast, but you can't stop the podcast. You can't stop being you. You can't stop being annoying. You can't stop talking. You can't stop babbling. You can't stop saying anything. One thing I say, see the words, it's me. Fucking it's me drives me up a fucking wall to talk. Not, you didn't drive me up a wall. I appreciate the comment, but it makes me want to keep going. Then the voice inside my head are like, Phil, just keep fucking going. There's no reason to stop quite yet. And I don't want to stop quite yet, but I need to stop. It's just inside my brain. But please go on. Don't stop, but please. Please, Phil. Could you have another? I did finish The Punisher. This will be a non-spoiler review of The Punisher. Non-spoiler. Fucking awesome, dude. Fuck, dude. Fuck. Those last couple of episodes, holy fucking balls of shit. Not saying it was slow, like a slow series comparatively to some other slow series, but through the beginning half, you keep waiting for certain things to happen, and you're like, okay, this is really good, but I'm waiting for something to happen, waiting for this. And then when the point hits you, I think it's episode 10, maybe episode 11, that's just like, holy fucking shit. Wow. It delivers on the promise to give me a good Punisher thing. Not that I'm the hugest Punisher fan or like a purist or anything like that, but being on Netflix, having the potential to go as far as they could go, I was wondering if they would go like gore. And I guess this is a minor spoil, but it's not really a spoil. It does get gory. And when it hits you, it's like, again, like a huge fucking Punisher slap across the face. And he's so, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Joe and I will do a spoiler review of it. Don't want to talk too much about it because I'll end up spoiling shit, but I was very, very pleased. Not that I didn't like Defenders. I think I like Defenders a lot more than some people. But coming off Iron Fist and then Defenders, which were a little bit more magical in that universe, it was good to get back to the grittiness that defined Daredevil when it first started and the Daredevil universe as a whole. As much as Luke Cage's strength, Jessica Jones's strength, or his invulnerability, and the Iron Fist douchebag ability, and the Iron Fist thing, the ninja fighting, though, like all that shit. Like, and I know part of that's in Daredevil season 2, but I think it's like half and half there. And I talked about that in the Daredevil review. But this brought like a grittiness back. Someone else said this. I'm stealing it, so I apologize if I didn't. It was like. I was going to say it had some elements of like watching 24 at its best, but even like a step further at times. Like when it happens, when the switch clicks and the series starts really getting going, it ends really fucking strong. And it always stayed interesting to me. I'll talk more about this with the review I do with Joe, but it's up there as one of my favorite seasons of these series. I think it catapults into like definitely above the Defenders and Iron Fist and probably Luke Cage as well. I would probably still go Daredevil 1, Jessica 2, Daredevil 2, 3, then this, then Luke, then Defenders, then Iron Fist. Share my favorite ways of eating turkey. Now, I like sticking that turkey right up someone's fucking mouth. Like I like feeding someone turkey, like or like Caesar. Nah. Actually, funny enough, I'm not a big turkey eater. Maybe that's part of the reason why I'm not a holiday fan. I don't like community eating. Why do I want to eat in a community and share? You know, I'm fucking just gonna get those people's fucking. Get their dirtiness all over me. I don't know if I can eat alone. No, my favorite way to eat turkey is when it's lasagna. Listen to the voice in your... I remember your Punisher trailer talk with the Metallica soundtrack. Exactly. It lives up to that. So I had a good time watching Punisher, especially if you're a fan of John Barenthal. He's very John Barenthal in the whole thing. Yeah, just locked up in a room eating a whole turkey myself. You know, I steal the turkey. I'm like, give me the leftovers, and then I'll take the leftovers because I don't want to worry about sharing. When I do eat, it's not a pretty sight, and I eat a lot. Like, everybody. I fucking eat a lot, motherfuckers. Come on, texter. You fucking text. Talk to you guys next time. Later. Oh no, if you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the channel with a friend. Help us keep growing. Tomorrow is Black fucking Friday, and we got Cyber Monday after that. So if you guys are gonna do your shopping, I'm not telling you to fucking shop, but if you're gonna go out there and do online shopping, especially on Amazon, please start your fucking shopping with our Amazon link. Now, you don't have to buy anything that's on the page that you're going to click on there. It's just my page that has some of the stuff that, like I'm suggesting, so to speak. But if you just start your shopping with that link, get to Amazon that way, theoretically on some products, we'll get a very, very small percentage. It won't cost you any extra. If you're going to do the shopping anyways, it definitely fucking helps us out a little bit. And it's like throwing pennies into a jar, and those pennies will eventually add up, and I can get a new fucking wire or a new fucking microphone or some fucking shit or a fucking sandwich. So, but either way, no, really do appreciate that. If you're going to do any shopping, try to start with our fucking Amazon link. Do it. And if you haven't already and you enjoyed this shit, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thank you to all of our patrons. Had a new patron-only podcast out this week with myself talking to Joe Dirtylocks about how we met. So if you are one of our patrons and you haven't listened to that yet, please check out the patron page and listen to that podcast with Joe, and go back and make sure you listen to all the extra bonus stuff we had the month before. I made stuffed shells. And then we also have some stuff with The Walking David, King McKay, and some more stuff with Drunk Joe and some other random videos here and there. So if you're a patron, make sure you're taking advantage of that silly stuff. And if you have any suggestions of streams you want next month or videos you want next month, definitely let me know. So everybody, I love you fucking guys. Ren, Ian, you guys are fucking awesome. And everybody, again, have an extremely happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. If not, have a good day. And I will be back on Sunday with Nick Diaz from the Midnight Chat Attack. So again, if you haven't already, check out the Midnight Chat Attack and check out Nick Diaz so you're prepared for some fucking fun Nick Diaz shit on Sunday. So we're gonna have a good time, everybody. And thank you everyone that checked out the stream. Talk to you soon. Talk to you soon, music.
When I'm down on my luck, I seem to look everywhere. Gotta find my dreams. When you find my energy, you gotta find extreme. Gotta look for the demon inside my extremes. Look out my window, floor. All these skills are rapping on my door. They're in my eyes and in my cross. Demon inside, I wanna make my life. Oh no, why you go when you're less than me? You got to know. All people got to say, but they never wanna leave me, never wanna pray. These people say they come on their energy. They find all these things, they go, no, 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 no. When I die, my brain, I try to find my energy. You know, Dr. Name, never got my focus, got the same. Combine energy, combine all history. Don't worry about my brain, all these people wanna go my way. You don't understand how much you laugh, how much the man. You don't know your way, gotta find my breath, gotta find the same. Break it down one time for me with all the future and all the dreams. Gotta find my focus, gotta find my soul. Look for the brain, gotta go, no, grind the grind, but you gotta find energy, gotta find the time. Gotta know, got a brain, gotta look inside your history. You say you don't impress, don't know what, but you gotta smoke some sass. Breath, don't know, you ain't seen nothing. Yeah. Why the brain? Cause your brain is something if you don't get raw. Say, hope they don't wanna give a fuck when you're brown and your brains you don't give enough. Oh no, nobody knows how much the world will cost to flow in the limit of a demon in the star line. I don't wanna let it go to ground about my game, they don't wanna let it go. Wanna find my energy, find and know, but you never understand me, never reach stop. Watch out, the demon don't give a fuck. The demon don't give a fuck. The demon ain't worth the buck. Watch out for the demons. Watch out for the demons. Watch
Watch out.
Love you guys.